Hi, and welcome to Create, Automate, and Scale podcast. Tune in to this inspirational, straight to the point, relatable content for entrepreneurs to help you mastermind the everyday hassle, give you business tips, networking opportunities, shameless money talks, and scaling secrets. Created to support you, to support coaches and course creators just like you, to help you take action, stop trading dollars for hours, and explode your business. It's time to hit that six-figure and beyond. Let's go! Welcome to Create, Automate, and Scale podcast. Hi, I'm Sophie Riley, and I'm your host. Today I get to have an amazing conversation with Joyce, and we are talking all things about how you can hack your brain for better business, what works, what doesn't, and why it matters more than ever. Joyce shows coaches how to attract and connect to their ideal client online using simple social system so that they can generate more leads and make a bigger impact without the overwhelm. She combines her 25 years of business experience and proven strategy honed since 2013 with supportive accountability to kick clients into empowered action that sparks new opportunity. Welcome, Joyce, to the show.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have this conversation because we had a quick conversation before pressing that record button about people not being able to take action. And you know what? I want to say that I also get it because it's so overwhelming. It's an overwhelming space to be as an entrepreneur. There's so many things to learn. And sometimes we can be stuck in the learning. We're stuck in a cycle of being a student. How to hack our brain into this productive action is really exciting. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get started?
I will give you the condensed version. So this started back in 2005. I went through a training. I heard this woman speak and I was like, oh my God, whatever it is, I want that. And in a subsequent conversation, she said, there's this program you need to go through. So I had been in outside sales. I've been in sales my entire career. I am 58, by the way. So it's like, I've been doing this for a minute, but it was one of those things I went through. It was a 4-day program with the Pacific Institute. They work with huge clients globally, military teams, professional athletes, college, but it's all based in performance mindset. So going through this program literally shifted how I work my business, how I run my life. It was so impactful that I became trained as a facilitator and went to work with Denise and Alan with a local company. I'm in Kansas City. And then in 2008, I started my own business, and all of that sparked my mindset focus. So that's just to give people an understanding that when I'm talking to you, these aren't concepts that I created. This is what I got from the Pacific Institute, multi-million-dollar company that have worked with over 6 million people globally, including, top government leaders, you name it. But it goes back to how the mind works at the conscious and subconscious level. So I'm not talking about law of attraction, very important, right? Because how your subconscious works, but this is cognitive science. And so when you combine this with all the things you have to do in your business, then you know how to literally take control of your brain so you don't get caught up into what I call creative avoidance. A lot of people say procrastination. It's creative avoidance because we're so good at it. Or you get stuck in comfort zones, or you get caught up in the busy work versus the income producing activities, or something as simple as I don't want to go live, or I don't want to reach out to that person that you've had a great conversation before and you know that they could be a client, but you just find yourself hesitating, to continue the conversation. So that's where all of that background comes into play. In 2008, when I launched my business, that's when I made all the mistakes. So that's why I shifted from a focus of training and performance mindset and got my business chops, because I literally, the money that I spent, the time that I wasted trying to learn all the things. And then you think about now with social media, I mean, things are changing, I swear, daily when it comes to what you need to do on social and what the platforms are doing and how you need to show up online. And so it's a matter of taking the mindset piece and then infusing it with talking about your brand, revenue, your offers, how you're going to market, and most importantly, systems, and planning is an important part of that. But it's knowing how your brain works in the process.
What would you say is one thing that, something that happened, in your everyday life that you were able to change?
So for me, people find it hard to believe that I am a former wallflower in the world of business networking. I was in outside sales, been in outside sales since I was in my 20s, but going to a networking event was incredibly uncomfortable. I would be the person standing next to the food table or getting a drink, hoping that you'd have a conversation with me. So understanding how my mind worked, understanding beliefs and habits and truly comfort zones. We have these subconscious comfort zones that we don't necessarily realize, but then you go to do. So it's when you go to do something and you find yourself hesitating, it's like that's your subconscious drawing you back to your normal. Think about it like a thermostat, like climate control on a thermostat. So anytime you set that goal or you have that idea or what it is that you want to do, and then your subconscious is like, hold on. And then you find yourself procrastinating the very things. So through understanding how my mind worked, Bob Berg, who's the author of The Go-Giver, met him on Twitter in 2009. Bob graciously endorsed my second book, calling me the greatest networker in the world. All I'm doing is using the principles that Bob taught me. I used to be terrified to speak in public. I went on to do keynotes. I've spoken at TEDx, but that goes back to I know how my mind works and I know how to intentionally push comfort zones. So even though something scares the crap out of me, I'm like, let's do it. Because I know if I can do it, then I can do the other thing and the other thing. Now I'm not going to skydive. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am never going to skydive, but stuff that used to scare me, literally, I'd avoid it. It's like, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find the difference between avoidance and just plain not interested. So you've created this system, which is a drive planning system, which really is all about that mindset, that accountability, but also taking action. Can we dive into it a little bit?
Absolutely. So I do have to tell you the drive, that whole theme came from my hobby. I track cars on road courses. So to be clear, I do not race. I'm competing against myself for time, but there are other cars on track. In fact, I just posted a reel of what happens when you don't hit a corner properly and you end up going, fortunately.
I'm going to go check that out.
But it's one of those things. So that's where drive came from, because it's all about, we got to drive and think about, you've got obstacles and you've got detours and you've got, so that's where that language comes from.
I love it because it's almost like a map. If you just go for a drive randomly, you may not get to your destination if you don't know where you're going. I love it.
Exactly. Yep. So that's why I thought we'll incorporate, for those of you that have those hobbies and you're like, how do I incorporate it into my brand? There are ways that you can do that. But that's where the drive planning system came from. So it's not just because we know that we're supposed to set goals. Everybody knows we're supposed to set goals. By the way, we're teleological in nature, which means we're goal oriented. So if you do not set a new goal, you're going to basically, it's like Groundhog Day again and again and again and again and again. So that's where you need to set goals. You need to know the best and easiest way to set goals, but we start with mindset. So I teach you about your reticular activating system in your subconscious, how to spot opportunities. I teach you about negativity bias. It's like how you go down that wrong rabbit hole. And so understanding how your mind works is that first piece before you get into the planning, or you're going to creatively avoid that's all that stuff.
Well, you know what? that stuff needs to be there in order to be able to take action, in order to be able to take the proper action, in order to take action that are actually aligned with our values, our business, goals and all of that good stuff. So that's really important.
You nailed it at the very beginning. It's like it's easy to get caught up when you're building a business online in consuming, constantly consuming, downloading another freebie. And I bet if you go, look in your email, for the folks that are listening to this podcast, watching, that if you go look in your email or you go look in your drive or your documents, you're going to find courses or things that you've downloaded that have been collecting virtual dust that you never went back and revisited, but you always think, well, I have to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, versus what are those foundations that you need? But more importantly, take action. Sophie, as you said, based on what are your goals for the month? Are you trying to launch a course? Do you have a new offer? Do you do, was it one-on-one coaching, or you're creating a digital product? So how do you have that bigger goal? And then you back it up to go, what's the action step that I need to do today, tomorrow? It's like keep going, versus you get lost in the Instagram rabbit, keep going and you go down one hole into another hole and you get to the end of the day and you're like, crap, didn't do anything on that course. Yeah.
But I learned a few new recipes.
Right. Oh, I know. Or you go out to YouTube, which by the way, I love YouTube, right? I'm building a great audience on YouTube, but it's easy because YouTube knows this. They keep playing you videos. So it's like, how do you go in and get what you need, come back, stop, and then do the work? You do the work.
Yes. Now let's talk about goals for a sec, because I feel like this word is thrown out there into the universe and we all have these big goals, but there's a huge disconnection into, yes, you know what, it's freaking beautiful if you have a big goal, and I support you 100%, but you have to be able, and you have to be okay with doing the work that it requires you to get to that big goal. And I think that there is a huge gap between what's your goal and that big goal. And it's like this white space where people don't necessarily understand how to get there, or what it takes to get there, or even the steps.
Yes. The easiest thing that I have found, and it goes to the mind. Yes, you should have this. I always talk about, you want to have your year vision. Like, what do you want to accomplish in the year? But back it up into 90 days. It's easy for us to be able to look 3 months ahead. And by the way, whatever you're working on today, right now, whatever activities you're doing it's going to be the revenue that you're producing in 90 days. So if you're doing busy work versus actually generating leads and going and talking to people, whether it's in person or online, then you're not going to be hitting your numbers goals. So 90 days, when you think about that 3 months, then you have a chance that you can course correct or do whatever you need to do. I think part of it, Sophie, and you've nailed that too, is we tend to, especially when you're newer and you don't know what you don't know, you set these goals based on what you see other people are doing, based on what it actually takes. Like if you're going to build out a robust, even a micro offer, like I've got my Gift Yourself Toolkit, and it's going to be a $9 offer. To build that content out, it still takes time, but it's not just the course. It's here's the landing page and here's the email series, and it's all the pieces that go into it before you ever go talk to people. And if you've never done it before and you're doing the wrong things, I'm sure you've seen it. Somebody goes, oh, I have this offer, and they start posting on social media and they wonder why somebody's not buying, because they're missing so many steps in the puzzle. And that's where setting that goal, having it be realistic. I always insist that you should push yourself a little bit. Just, you got to push yourself a little bit, but more importantly, reverse engineer it into what's practical. Great example. And you know this, you're running the summer automated bundle right now. You didn't just say, hey, we're going to do this, and you launch it next week. It takes time to talk to the people, get everything done, and start promoting it in a proper way. And it's no different. Say you want to do a free workshop to drive somebody. So you've got an offer, and your offer is your big goal. And then you're going to piecemeal, you're going to go, I call it reverse engineering, super easy to do. So it's what's here. What are all the steps? Well, part of it is giving yourself plenty of time to market that free workshop, to get people in. So all of those things come into your planning process. And you literally have to break it down to step number one, mark it in your calendar, block time in your calendar and come up with, I need to do all these pieces. So I'm going to do this piece on Monday and I'm going to devote 2 hours and I'm going to do this piece on Tuesday. So reverse engineering it is going to make it easy. And that way you can see, I got this done faster. It took longer to do this, but it literally, that timeline is so important. And most people, I shouldn't say most, there are a lot of people that just skip the process or they think it's magically going to happen. It doesn't. It just doesn't. You know that.
It really does not. I get so many people that are like, hey, Sophie, I got to ask this question. If you wanted to make money today, what would you do? And I was kind of taken back and I was like, I plan my business every year and every quarter. If I wanted to make money today, I would have started the process 3 months ago. I mean, sure, if I want to make money today, I'm going to go get on sales calls and all that good stuff. But after asking a lot of questions, that person wanted to make $40,000. Okay, that's not done overnight, especially if you are just starting out. So let's take that 40,000 goal. And do you have an offer? Let's say that offer was $200 for easy math. Okay, so we have $40,000 and then we'll divide by 200. Okay, well, you need to sell 200 offers. Let's not even get into the math of how many you need on your email list. How many sales calls do you need to do to get that done? Is that a goal that you can see realistically happen?
You have to go talk to 800 people. That's where realistically, you're right. If you don't know, you can make $40,000. You could do it pretty quick if you had a massive list and if you had been nurturing people for that length of time, because 3% of people in your orbit, whether they're on your email list or they've been engaging with you consistently on social or maybe in your private Facebook group, are ready, willing, and able to buy right now. So yeah, I know it has the numbers of what it sounds good, but you've got to have that reality, the dose of reality in there, what it actually takes. That's why I think this is such a valuable conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And now don't get me wrong. I love big goals, but it's really, really important that we understand how we can get to that goal and how this drive planning system can really come into play into helping you do that so much faster. I truly love that you're talking about planning your business 3 months ahead. And this is why we are having the summer automated bundle, because that's really what it's about. It is automating your business 3 months at a time. You can't do that without knowing what's happening in your business within that 3 months. And I want to say that the mental freedom that gives you, knowing exactly where you're going, is almost refreshing, life-changing.
It is an amazing thing. And part of it is when you know what actions you need to take and you're consistent about it, like it comes back to, if you want to make sales, that means you have to go talk to people. You can't just post content and send emails. It's those conversations. So at the beginning, some people think, and I'm sure you've run into this too, that you've had clients that have come to you, they have nothing created and they think everything has to be super fancy. It really doesn't. You do need to have a solid offer and solid messaging, but most importantly, you're going to be tweaking and developing things as you go. And so I see people hesitating because they think everything has to be done. Like it's all got to be done and perfect. And you know this as well as I do, that as you grow your business, you're constantly going to be adjusting things based on feedback that you get from the clients that you work with. And then you can go, make the tweaks. Like you may have created that landing page. You can go adjust it. You may add another bonus, to an offer that you come up with and you can go adjust it. But when it comes to technology, it's super important that, another point that I see people get stuck in is they want to DIY everything and they don't want to invest in their business. Like right now, the summer bundle, it's free. I mean, that's amazing considering that the value that is there. And so thanks to you, I've had a bunch of people jump on my email list because they want the planning system. But then the question is, when they get to that point where they're stuck, it's like, are they willing to actually invest to do what they need to do? Or if planning, for example, mine, if planning is just your thing, are you going to continue to spin in circles? Are you actually going to say, hey, maybe I want to do something about this? Or technology, do you want to fiddle around with it forever and try and create your own funnel? Or do you want to hire somebody to do that for you? Which, of course, there's always things you can do on a budget. And sometimes you got to spend a little bit more to get that done. So that, to me, it's like, are you willing to invest the time? Are you willing to invest to do the work that you need to hit the goals? And more importantly, you got to have those pieces that hold you accountable, but then celebrate your wins along the way. Part of that goes back to, your subconscious when you celebrate a win. And even if it's, oh my God, I did a reel for the first time, that dopamine response that you get makes you more inclined to want to do the next step versus you get to the end of the week and go, nobody's bought my stuff. Are you doing everything that you're supposed to?
Like 9 times out of 10, if you have to have this conversation with yourself and just say, did I do everything that I needed to do? The answer is no. Right? Yeah. Now, this has been an amazing conversation, but we are talking, mindset and productivity and taking action. What would be your favorite time maximizing hack?
I like the Pomodoro method. So it has been shown that some people have paper planners, and that's what the Drive system is, right? It doesn't come in a fancy book. You can download it and use it whatever you want. So whatever method it is, whether you want to track it in your Google Calendar, whether you want a paper method. In fact, I have both because I have a journal that I will take notes in because remember Franklin planners from years ago? So I loved having that, even though I have a slightly different planning system now. But part of it is you can write the things down, but the Pomodoro method is where you literally time 25 minutes. Set an egg timer, set the timer on your phone, and you go into full focus for 25 minutes. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to get to the end of the day and you say, I'm going to do this thing, right? I'm going to work on an email series. You could spend 5 hours working on an email series versus you set the timer and say, I'm going to get one email done. If you've not done this, right? I'm going to get one email done in that series, get it loaded. It tends to, when there's a time limit, you tend to be more productive and more efficient with what you're doing.
Absolutely. It works with cleaning my house. I'm a very competitive person. I put a 10 minutes timer and let's see how much I can do in 10 minutes.
And that's such a great point, because maybe at the beginning, it's like, if you hate it, right? There are some things, and I know this, I have some clients that just, technology. But if you set 10 minutes and you're like, I'm going to go all in for 10 minutes, and then you get to the end, you're like, well, that wasn't so bad. And then you do another 10 minutes and you do another 10 minutes. But the point is you turn off the sound on your phone. You get rid of notifications from social or email, and you do full focus, because every time you get interrupted, it takes your brain up to 16 minutes to get back on track.
Oh my God, 16?
Up to 16 minutes. So that's why full focus on what you're doing, you will get far more done in that amount of time than you would otherwise. Another way to think about it is, Sophie, if I said you could go anywhere in the world, you wanted all expenses paid, if you got a brand new course done in a week, do you think you'd get that course done?
Girl, I'm going to have it done in a day.
Right. So that's where you've got that time constraint. So then you're working versus I'm going to do the thing, and then I get sidetracked, and then somebody texts, or it's like, yeah. So Pomodoro method, full focus.
I love that. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much for all of this amazing knowledge today. Joyce has some amazing gift for you, so go check them out into the show notes. Thanks for tuning in to the Create, Automate, and Scale podcast. We hope you found today's episode to be inspirational, informative, and straight to the point. Our goal is to provide you with relatable content that helps you mastermind the everyday hustle, grow your business, and achieve your goals. As an entrepreneur, we know how tough it is that it can be to navigate the world of business, which is why we're here to support you with valuable tips, networking opportunities, shameless money talk, and scaling secrets. We're dedicated to helping coaches and course creators take action, stop trading dollars for hours, and explode their business to hit that six-figure and beyond. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date with the latest episode, and feel free to leave a review or reach out to us with any feedback or questions that you may have. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Create, Automate, and Scale.